Veronica Edwards Show. We have fun financial conversations that everyone can apply to their personal and professional life. This is not the show, this is live. This is our second live of 2026. And I'm Veronica Edwards, CPA, financial coach, and founder of Balance Virtually LLC, and this amazing podcast, the Veronica Edwards Show. So thank you guys so much. If you're joining live, drop some love in the chat, some questions. We want you guys to be engaged. And if you are catching the replay, welcome. We are so glad that you guys are here. So we are continuing our conversation from last week's episode on decision fatigue. And we had the amazing Ebony Sharonda, our co-host of our newly rebranded segment, The Growth Code. And trust me, there's something that every entrepreneur, especially women of color in business, can get from this conversation. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Miss Ebony Sharonda. Welcome, Ebony.
Hey, how you doing? All the way in
I,
Asheville from Greenville.
yes, and we had a snow day and we had flurries.
I'm
And
hating.
our good friend to the show, Elena Anthony, who did our first live, fellow
hmm
CPA chat, they got 2 feet of snow in Queens.
I know my dad's up there, and my cousin texted me and she said they were expecting like 20 something inches. And I was like, girl, stop. It is about to be March.
That is
This is
crazy.
not going to work well. This is not going to work well. We're over winter.
I'm over it. I mean, I saw a note that the public school said we've already maxed out our remote days, so this is just a day off. Basically saying we're going to have to make it up. So thankfully, my child is not in the public school system, so we could just do some stuff from home. But I'm over it. I was kind of
Yeah.
getting used to the 70 degrees last week, and it was starting to warm up a little bit, and then it was 19 this morning.
That just broke my heart. When I woke up this morning and walked outside, I was like, this is breaking my heart. We literally was just 70 degrees on Friday and it felt like 80.
Yes.
We had the heat turned off. We was ready. Like we was so ready for
Yeah.
spring. We had the heat turned off. We was inside
Hmm.
the house walking around with no socks on, child. Talking about how hot it was in the house. And then this morning, I was like, let me turn this heat back on
Yeah, we
because
was like,
it's
we wearing
cold.
hoodies. We were like, next live we'll wear some Veronica Edwards swag. I need to order some more stuff anyway. But I do want to shout out my girl, Dave Trina. We've been celebrating
Yay!
the late great Dr. Dave Trina. That's
Yes,
been
yes.
in Black History Month. She was an advocate for aphasia that affected people of color,
Mhm.
which is a disease from it's kind of like the aftershock of stroke and all of that stuff. So I was like, hey, I'm
Mhm.
gonna wear my hoodie. I want to rock Brain Friends. Brain Friends is the only podcast where I'm gonna rock this stuff outside of my thing.
That's
So
it.
shout out to
Okay.
Angie, big sis Angie.
Big
So
sis.
yes. So Ebony, this is your first time on live with me, and this is my second time on
Mhm.
live forever, ever. And I just brought something to sip on. I don't know if you have anything.
I mean, it's after hours. Why not have a cocktail? Why not?
It's been a long day. Okay, somebody's in the chat. Let's go. Who is 646 and 2? Thank you for
Thank
supporting.
you. Let's go.
But
That's
I
right.
do
That's
want to
right.
engage people during the chat because we're going to talk about decision fatigue. We're not going to give
Mhm.
everything away because we do want everyone to go back to the Veronica Edwards Show YouTube page,
For sure.
watch the amazing episode that we had, and we're going to talk about how we just rebranded our small biz chat to be the
Yeah.
growth code. But
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
if anybody is watching live, what is one decision that has been stressing you out lately? And the great Ebony Sharonda and I can provide some insight of how you could better manage that, reduce the stress, because especially during Black History Month, we wanted to
Mm.
talk about how decision fatigue affects women of color, especially. But Ebony Sharonda, before we get into that, can you please tell us a little bit about you? So, for those that don't know anything about you, you know, who is Ebony Sharonda? What are you doing right now in 2026? And how did you become a part of the Veronica Edwards Show via the Growth Code?
Ooh, well, I'll start there first. I mean, V and I go way back. I can remember I was working for a company, a small business, and I was doing a little bit of all things, including onboarding. And the owner says, "We've got this lady coming in. She's new. I need you to onboard her." And her name's Veronica Edwards. And of course, like everybody else, I go to LinkedIn. She's got no profile. I can't
Right.
see any pictures of her at the time. She was not at all on social media anywhere. So
Yes.
I'm thinking she's this white woman coming in because I was the black girl in the office and
Yes.
the only one at the time. And so I figured she's just another white woman coming in. And it was raining that first day. I walked into
You
the
was
office. All
late.
I saw, I was late, black folk time. And
Hmm.
I walked in and all I saw was her socks. And I was like, she's got on crazy socks. This is kind of cool. Who is she? And ta-da! She was another black girl. And I was like,
Yes. This was like 2014, like January, February of 2014. Because I
yeah,
remember
we've
it
been
was
friends ever
before I
since.
got pregnant, yes, with CJ. And that was the year I passed my CPA.
Mhm.
So it's
Yep.
been 12 years. I was in
Yep.
Greenville, South Carolina at the time. Now that's just below the
Yeah.
mountain. I'm in Asheville, about an hour and a half away. And Ebony, you've
Mhm.
always been speaking and a public
Yeah.
figure. So it was just natural
Yeah.
for me when I started doing the show a few years ago. Like, Ebony, you got to come on. Ebony was like my filler. Like, if I could not get somebody, I was like, Ebony could come and we could come up with a really good show. So you were one of the
Yeah.
first people that I wanted to be a part of it when we moved to YouTube. But you also have your own YouTube channel. So I want to talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
too. So what do you cover, Miss Ebony Sharonda? Because I know you're about confidence, clarity,
Mhm.
faith.
Mhm. Mhm. And activation. And so how to move through those phases in your life. I am currently still going through a reinvention stage. I don't really like to say reinvention. I think I do use the word, but it's not really that. I think it's more of a redefining of myself, a
Yes.
new form of clarity of who I am and what I stand for, what I believe. And on that journey, it really just took me um, down this pathway with Christ where I was like, oh my God, I'm so far away from where I supposed to be in that relationship. And so evolved Ebony Sharonda into what I would just say is just what we have just really good conversations around faith, around clarity. We've got chaplain chats where my dad and I talk a lot about
Yes.
biblical principles and how to live, a righteous life and what does it mean to, really understand and hear the voice of God. And so we've got season 2 of that coming up this year. And, we also have a book club. So our book club is on our
Yes.
show. We're reading book number 13 for within a year.
Mm.
We've
No,
this book
Ebony,
is
13?
yeah, in a year we've read 13 books. So I'm super excited. I am like really, really, really enjoying this new read that we have. It is so on time. Believing Bigger by Marshawn Evans. And we're studying that, unpacking that. So you can find all of the recap videos if you can't make it to the actual book club on our show. This year, we're going to have a really fun series. It's called, I can't give you the name away because it's going to be rolling out in March, but
All
it
right.
is a generational table conversation with my
Oh,
aunt, my sister, my first cousin, and my daughter, Jylan. You guys know Jai. Shout out to
yes.
Jai.
Brand ambassador
Um,
of the Veronica Edwards Show and the Veronica View, all things Veronica Edwards.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. We're trying to have fun on the Ebony Sharonda show, but have some real good conversations, talk about things that really matter. We mix in a little business conversations, but mostly what we're talking about is before you can get to business, you got to just get your mind right. So we're really
Yes.
focusing on the renewal and renewing of your mind, how to stay connected to divine, how to have a community of people who are believers and striving towards kingdom living. And so join
Yes.
us. Yeah.
Come on. I always tease Ebony because in this season, you can't tell me my sis ain't Erica Badu. Honey, I always tease her. And that's a compliment. I mean, she's spiritual.
Yeah.
She's, all about family and no matter.
Yeah.
And not put it Ebony business. Ebony got 2 baby daddies. Everybody gets
Yes,
along
I do.
and
Yes,
everybody
I
respects
do.
her.
And
That's
we
the
all get
mother
along.
of her
Yeah.
children. Everybody gets along, and Ebony eats a certain way. If you come in Ebony's house, you're gonna eat clean. Because you know how people
Yeah.
would joke with Erica Badu had everybody dressed in a certain way. Ebony
Look,
Sharonda,
don't
Ebony Sharonda has that
we
effect, honey.
we might
I'm
get
just
there.
saying.
You never know. You never know, right?
There's a glow. There's a glow. But anyway, we ain't gonna get into all of
Uh,
that. If y'all want to know more about the services that Miss Ebony Sharonda provides, don't look her in her eyes long though, man.
no,
Don't do
stop
it.
it.
She won't hurt. She won't hurt you.
No,
But
I don't bite.
anywho, we're going to go back to decision fatigue. So, Ebony,
Yeah.
we've gotten great responses from our episode last week where we're talking about how entrepreneurs, we make decision all day long. And especially as Black women in business, I feel like we always carry an extra burden. Like we always are doing the moves. So, I don't want us to talk about everything because I do want people to go back and watch the show. But let's
Mhm.
just break. Is that Drew out here screaming in the background? I heard you. As
Did
a
you
mom,
hear
I could
her?
hear. I can hear her. We're live, people. That's her grandbaby,
My
Jyla's
sweet
baby.
pea.
Right. Anywho, let's break down decision fatigue. So, if you could just
Mhm.
define. Oh, I see Charles Xavier's in the chat. That's my baby daddy. That is Mr. Edwards, honey, supporting his wife. Thank you,
Hey, that's
honey.
it. And supposed to be and
Period.
is that part.
Period. Period. Support Black men. Support Black men.
That's
Okay,
it.
so
That's
yes, so
it.
decision fatigue. Let's talk about that. It's a real thing. What is it?
Yeah, so decision fatigue is mental and emotional exhaustion from making too many choices, especially when those choices carry weight.
Mm,
So, as
mm,
entrepreneurs, we're deciding all day pricing, marketing, hiring, content, finances, family priorities. And for Black women, especially leaders, there's another layer. We often feel like we can't make mistakes, we have to
mm-hmm.
prove ourselves, we have to hold everything together. So that pressure just adds up. And so decision fatigue isn't just about being busy, it's about carrying responsibility without enough margin, support, or systems. So it's just a big brick. It's what I call wearing a cape. My therapist calls wearing a cape.
Yes, therapist. We do.
Yeah.
I don't, as women, I guess we just care so much because we could look at men, we love you guys, but the baby could be crying, this could be going on. They're good. But for us, it just
Yeah.
hurts our heart, or we're trying to be thoughtful in every decision. And sometimes you just got to make a decision.
Girl, we talked about this, and so they got to go listen to the podcast. But it can be just as simple as we come home, we've worked all day, we're super
Hmm.
tired, and the first question is, "What are we gonna have for dinner?" And it's like,
Right. When are you going to be
I
done
have
working?
no idea.
Right.
I have
Stop
no
asking me
idea.
questions I don't know the answer to. It's frustrating. And so I think too, and especially because we're talking about this, we're rounding out Black History Month, which,
Hmm.
the shortest month of the year, it goes by so quick.
Of course.
But it's like one of those things where, especially, I think at this time, I think about all the other women before us and the weight that they have. And I feel like
Hmm.
we need to take from that they had a weight, so our weight wouldn't be as heavy. And we're doing the same for the next generation. But I think sometimes we still feel like we have to have this burden. And like, what are the kids saying now? I want to have that soft life. Like, I don't want it to be
Me too.
hard at
Yeah. I
all.
mean, the reality of it is, especially as believers, those who are, we're gonna carry a cross, and we have
Mm-hmm.
to just suit up for it. We're talking a lot right now in our ministry about the full armor of God because it's important to understand that you don't just put that on when you go into war. We're in a war. You
Mm-hmm.
got to wear
Mm-hmm.
it 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
and that's already heavy enough as it is. So any support that we can have in the day-to-day tasks of living life, like, support us, please.
Yes. Yes. And on that note, there's a lot of folks that can support you, especially women of color. It might not be who you always think. We have so many people that support us in our business world. And so I'm gonna put my producer on the spot. We told Aaron we bringing him out. Aaron, where are you at? We want you guys to meet the producer of the Veronica. Hey, look at this guy
Hey,
in
what
his
up? What
flannel.
up?
Come Come on. Yes,
Well,
Aaron.
Shout out to Eric.
We told Aaron in Black History Month, we're shouting out our producer who's amazing and serves our country
Mhm.
proud is currently, what is the right term, Aaron? Do I say you're a veteran, but you're actively in the army? So that means, what do I say?
yeah, I mean, you can say veteran, but yeah, it's active service member or reservist
No,
or
no, active
whatever.
service.
Yeah, he's
You fight
active. He's
for
active.
us.
I mean,
Yeah.
Aaron, are
Yes.
you nervous right now? Because my son's girlfriend, she's in the National Guard and still in reserve, and she's like nervous.
I mean,
Oh, with
I don't know.
all these,
I've been
I
doing
heard
it
we're in
so
five
long.
wars right now. I heard we in five wars.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're always in 5 wars. The yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Ah!
yeah.
yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I guess I've kind of been desensitized to it where, well, I'm not going to really
Mhm.
take any action or react until there are orders in my hand, but yeah, no, I mean,
Mhm.
definitely the temperature of things have gone up. So,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
mhm.
Yeah.
Aaron's always like, I might have to report this month or this month, but I
Oh,
can't
I
tell you
know.
where and when. And I'm like, no problem. I'd be like, I don't want to know. I don't want no problems.
Yeah, there's some
I'm
behind the
ready.
scenes. There's poor Veronica has to deal with, and same with my wife too. I don't really know when I'm gonna be put on. Like I get put on orders for like 2 to 3 weeks at a time,
Hmm.
but I
Wow.
don't really know when it's gonna be. And so since I own a couple businesses and I'm partnered
Yes.
with everybody else that I work with are entrepreneurs, like suddenly as soon as I get, or like I'm going to Germany for 3 weeks this year and I don't actually know when I'm leaving, and I'm like, okay, you're not going to have me for a
Right.
month.
Right.
Good luck when that comes when that shows
I
up.
don't
So
know when it's happening, but
yeah.
We've prepared. I think it worked out
yeah.
for us that it was around the time that we're usually on break. But I do think
Mhm,
about shout
Mhm.
out to Bree, Aaron's wife, and baby Penelope, who
mhm.
is Aaron's
Yes,
beautiful
baby
daughter.
B.
Baby P.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot because I know how it was when I was just gone for like 4 or 5 days at a time without seeing the boys and then be gone
Mhm.
again. And now we're just a couple hours away. But see, me selfishly, I'll be like, so can we go to Germany with you? I know it's military,
Oh,
but I'll be like,
you
so
don't
can
want to
you hang
go
out?
where I'm going. It's the
It's not that type
military
of party.
operates on the cheapest land possible across the
Oh
world.
No.
boy.
So yeah, it's rarely pleasant, but
It's
I
It
not a
did a little bit of
is.
vacation,
recon.
right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It's
Aha.
not a
So
vacation.
Aaron, we won't hold you any longer, but we said we got to start bringing Aaron, and Aaron's such a big part of the show. Aaron's going to be doing pop-ups more. Him and Jylan, brand ambassador, Ebony's daughter, they're on I think our next episode that's coming on. The first
Mhm.
episode in
Yeah, it
March
is. Yeah.
is Behind the Curtain with Aaron Matan, our executive producer, and Jylan, brand ambassador, does all the marketing, all the stuff that makes me look great. That I get all the credit for. I tell Jylan, I'm like, it's not me, it's Jylan. She does all the shorts, she does all my newsletters, logos, so many things she's helped me out with the show and for the last few years. So we just wanted to shout Erin out, and I told Jylan she's coming on the next live, which means baby Drew's coming on, Ebony's
Yep.
grandbaby, who
Yeah.
AKA is the mayor.
She
Right.
may or may not make a guest appearance. Just depends, because you know
Depends
how
on her.
Drew
She be
moves.
booked. She be booked and busy because
She
she's
be
not gonna be
booked.
sleep. She won't be
Because she'll
sleep.
be right in here on my computer working, because she thinks, she needs the iPad on, the TV on, and the computer on, so she can work, because
Yes.
she's a boss. Yes.
Aaron knows that he has been an amazing stay-at-home father as well as doing all the things with his business. And Penelope's a boss. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna say
I
that,
mean,
Aaron.
but Penelope
Oh
and
yeah.
Drew were on a call together. Like, they
What?
already, like, they were
Mhm.
bought they were bossing it out already. I
A
already caught a
1-year-old
glimpse
and a 4-year-old.
of their Zoom meeting, and I was like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt y'all."
Oh yeah, it was funny. Like me and Jai
It
had a
was.
legitimate meeting about. I think it was about getting all the live together and
Oh,
the
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
craziness that is. Like even right now, I'm talking and like doing all the things. But
Yes.
yeah, my daughter just came up and was like, "Who are you talking to?" And then Drew was like another kid, and
Right.
they just took over the meeting.
That
Yes.
was
And they're
And
it.
then we come to
always
you and say, "Hey, so we never actually integrated this and all that," wondering why.
Nothing happened during that meeting. And I love
Oh
that the
my
I
kids are
mean, that's
growing
it.
up around all of this stuff. That
god.
it's
Oh
normal for
yeah.
them to be speaking and cameras and phones and technology. I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's too
thank you,
funny.
Aaron. We love you so much.
Good to
Thank you.
see
Thank
you,
you.
Aaron.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for
thanks.
everything.
Of course, thanks for bringing me
Yes.
in, and, if you wanna learn more about me and my busy life, you can check out the link right here at fmstraining.com. Look at that.
There it
Hey.
is.
Yes.
Just like
Aaron.
that. Just like that.
Yes. I love when you're the producer and you can produce your segment. I like
I
that.
know, right?
Yes.
Alright, have fun,
Right.
y'all. I'll be listening.
All
Thanks.
right.
Thanks,
So,
Aaron.
so Ebony, we were talking about, decision fatigue. And
Mhm.
a lot of times I think people are experiencing decision fatigue and they don't even realize it. It's kind of like when you're depressed and you look back and it's like, I was fully like a functional this, or I was depressed and
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. So, what do you think are like some examples of possibly that you have signs of decision fatigue?
Well, I think that if you are just in a space right now where you're just like brain fried, I think I texted you just last week, right? I was like, I can't even think straight.
I'm
My brain
like,
feels
what?
like a racetrack. It really felt like there were cars in my head
Yes,
going around and around and around. And I
right,
couldn't really stop long enough to think about anything, to hold anything long enough to be able to make a decision.
right.
And that's because like I was burnt out. I was just tapped out, I had
Yes,
reached the capacity of the amount of decisions that I could make. And so it could feel something as simple as like you're just tired, you
right.
just literally can't hold any thoughts. You feel like if I have to think of one more thing, even down to what I'm going to eat for
Where?
dinner,
Right.
I just
Stream.
can't,
Yep.
like I just can't do it. So it's evident, it's real. A lot of people are dealing with it, but they may call it depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, worryation,
Procrastination. Yes. Overthinking.
procrastination.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, it manifests itself in that way, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
you get to a point where you have just completely thought so much that you frozen, right? Like you just
Yes.
can't do anything, it does turn into procrastination where you just ultimately aren't getting anything done. And
Yep.
so those are kind of like the fruit of it is
Mm-hmm.
procrastination and all the things that are associated with the delay of making those decisions because you have reached your capacity. You're just like,
Right.
I'm tapped out. Yeah.
That's it. And I'm learning that the older I get, because I used to be able to just work, 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 work in accounting. We have beginning of the month, but we call it month end deadlines. And I would work till midnight sometimes, go to work 6 o'clock in the morning. That's before I had a child. And then,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
got completely scrambled up. And then your child changes. So now, yeah, I hit a wall and there's nothing that I can do. Like, and Carlos knows it too. Like, if he knows that I'm feel like today, he was like, here's a slice of chocolate cake, like he was giving me all my favorite things. Don't worry about
Yeah.
this. I think last week I was stressing about some stuff and he was like, just say no. I think we forget
Yeah.
that we can say no sometimes too. Or because again, as women, at least I feel like I said I was going to have this meeting. I'm going to hold to this meeting. And a lot of times everyone's like, oh, it's no big deal. Like we could just reschedule till tomorrow. But I'm like, it's my name, it's my
Yeah.
brand. I have to uphold every promise as if things can't change.
Yeah, I'm over that. Sorry. I can relate to it, but I'm over that. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not in that season of my life right now. Like I'm in a place now where I'm my worst problem. I'm not so much
Right.
worried about what other people are thinking. I'm like, I'm so tired that I can't do anything but rest. My body is
Mhm.
telling me that that's what I have to do. And so once I do that, I do rest, then I'm in my head. I'm like, oh man, I got
Yes.
this to do and that
Yep.
to do and this deadline and all these things. And then I have to remember, like, I'm not a surgeon and like nobody's life is in jeopardy. So if it doesn't happen, I can
Right.
ask for grace,
Yes.
because I give a lot of grace. There's a
We
lot of things
give
I
so
want
much
right
grace and
now.
mercy.
Right? I'm like, it's so many things I want right now. Ain't nobody giving it to me when I want it. I have
Right.
to be patient and wait. So if I need an extension, or if I'm bumping up against something, or if I just need a little bit more time, hey, I'm just asking for it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it's been a crazy week. I didn't get to that. Is it okay if we do this tomorrow? Or,
Yes.
I'm really not my sharpest today. And I think vulnerability in that time is real key
Yes.
too. It's just being honest about like where you are, because like what are
Right.
they gonna do? What are they gonna do if you
Right.
say, I can't think straight right now. I'm not gonna really be my best and
Yes.
give you what you need. Can we
Yes.
postpone this until tomorrow or
Yes.
Monday or whatever the case may be? Like, who can't respect that? And if they can't, they may not be the right person for you to be in business with or a relationship
Mm-hmm.
with or whatever the case
Mm-hmm.
may be,
Mm-hmm.
because you're being vulnerable enough to bring your full self, transparent, and saying where you are right now. Like, I'm not going to be able to give you my best. And if they can't respect that and just, work with you, one thing I
Right.
had to remember was I'm not a flake. So I'm not out here
Right.
like
Meaning you're very
not showing up
consistent.
and
You're very
not do
consistent. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like I'm not
Right.
showing up. I'm not just like out here just selling people pipe dreams. No, like I'm a hard worker. I do good work. I'm
Right.
gonna show up. I miss some things, sure. My email gets a little bogged down and buried.
Absolutely. We've all
Absolutely.
had that. Yes.
I've been late, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say 80% of the time, I'm showing up, I'm delivering, I'm giving
Yep.
you, the best versions of myself. And so if that 20% means, hey, I missed that because I was tired, my
Right.
brain literally couldn't cooperate with me. I
What do you
mean, what
want?
you want me to do? You know what
Because
I'm
I was
saying? And
just
if
going to ask you, without giving away some of the things we talked about last week, is like, what is a tip to reduce decision fatigue? And like you said, transparency.
mhm,
I can profess to that last week. I mean, this month has been so busy between two series I'm doing. So now I'm blocking off 2 days out of the week at my busiest time of the year. All these things are going on. We've had all these snow days. So now CJ's home. Carlos has been home. So I'm trying to manage all of these things on top of older parents that we're visiting and, just all of the life stuff. And I had some deadlines that came up and I just had to reach out to a client. And I said, look, I had some things in my schedule that I needed to shift. So I'm not apologizing.
mhm,
I'm just like, I had some things that shifted. I'm not going to have this available tomorrow. We already have a meeting on Monday. Can we meet on Monday? No problem.
mhm.
And guess what? The meeting today, I killed it because I had the weekend to reset. I had time to
Mhm.
be like, okay. And I'm meeting with these people twice a week. You also have to think about, like you said, you have a
The
relationship.
frequency,
They
right?
like, oh, we didn't think it was gonna hit that deadline anyway. Sometimes we're putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves. So that's something, again, especially double minorities, women of color in business, we have to remember, like you said, it's that 80-20 rule. If you're showing up 80% of the time, give yourself grace for the 20%. And if the people you're aligning yourself with won't give you that same grace, then we need to reevaluate the people that we're aligning ourselves with.
Reevaluate that relationship, because I mean, at the end of the day, everybody needs grace. Nobody is
Yes.
going to kill it. You can put that pressure on yourself if you want to, and you'll crash out eventually.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
there is a crash out point where you
Yes.
don't see it, but those who have been there, we know. Like, you can get
Mm-hmm.
up the crack of dawn. I mean, you and I have both been there. V. We wake up
Oh
2, 3 o'clock in the
my
morning. We're
gosh.
working.
Yes.
We get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We're working. We're
Yep.
meeting deadlines. We're aggressively going after business. We're
Mm-hmm.
building companies, taking care of parents, taking care of families.
Content. Right.
Oh, please don't even add that piece to it. Like,
Yes.
so, not to mention, you still cooking dinner, you still got laundry, you got a kid that you have to pay attention to. Like, you can't just be like
Yes.
full work mode. So, like, we're carrying all of these things. You will crash out
Mm-hmm.
if you don't give yourself grace.
Yeah.
If you
Yep.
don't say, okay, God, I surrender. I am not going to be able to
Yes.
do all of this. i'm
Yes.
I'm backing up. And your crash out might be the hospital, right? Like with a nervous breakdown or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hypertension, or
Mm-hmm.
because it's not possible. And that's culture. The culture that we live in right now has
Right.
sold us this belief that we've got to constantly be on go, constantly be busy. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not doing something, if you're not creating something, then you're nothing. And we've really
Crazy talk.
ingrained ourselves in that belief that we got to keep doing things when really the only thing we're
Yes.
supposed to do is one, spend some time with our father, and two, have relationships with our family, our loved ones, enjoy
Meaningful
life,
relationships. Right.
meaningful relationships, not just out here
Yes.
chasing stuff, that is
Yes.
it ain't gonna work.
Let's talk about that because again, we wanted to give a little sampler of
Yeah.
what was on last week, and you guys can check that out on veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com. You can also right here at the Veronica Edwards Show YouTube channel see the full episode that I had with Ebony Sharonda last week in Black History Month. But let's talk about that, how society has really flipped the script. I think
Hmm.
priorities have totally changed over the last few decades where I feel like COVID helped us slow down a little bit where we would just drug ourselves, go to work, do this, do that, didn't care much about that work life balance. But now you got people working just as hard from home. And they're like, but I got work life balance. And I'm like, well, no, no. Just because you're home, you could be actually
Mm-mm.
working more now that you're working home because now you're available. Oh, let me just check this email after I cook. You wouldn't have did that if you were just working at a brick and mortar. So that's something that I know that you talk about a lot on the Ebony Sharonda YouTube channel. I want us to talk about that a little bit, regardless if people are entrepreneurs. And
Hmm.
again, for those that are listening, please put in the chat if there is anything that is stressing you out as we can discuss it and talk about different tips. But what do you feel is the key thing that folks listening, if they're not feeling grounded, if they're feeling overwhelmed, they're overthinking things in general, what is something just simple that we should get back to, regardless of what your religious belief is,
Hmm.
or what your financial situation, what your political beliefs? What are some strategies? Because a lot of people are broken and lost.
Yeah, I mean, of course, my first thing is always pray. But if
Yes.
you are if you are for whatever reason, not in tune with that, I definitely say meditate.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are spiritual, meditate on the word. But those who may not have that relationship or are not interested in that relationship, you need to just meditate in a quiet space,
Mm-hmm.
where you
Mm-hmm.
can really kind of start reflecting. A lot of what we talk about, especially in our book club, is like remembering where God has brought you from, remembering where you was once upon a time and where you are now.
Yes. Once upon a
Just
time, not long ago.
I mean, it sounds simple, but if you really sit back and you reflect and you think about that, and hey, journal, write it down. Like I was just last year in the darkest place of my life.
Ooh.
Like, if I think back
Yeah.
to February of 2025, I was in a very dark place. I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. I was drowning in work. I was going through a separation. I didn't know where my marriage was headed. I was, trying to figure out how to keep the wheels on our business because he
Mm.
worked with us and played a key pivotal role in what we were doing. I didn't know from one day to the next what things were going to look like. But what got me through that was I took the time as often as I could to just unplug and to just sit still and listen
Yes.
for whatever the spirit was going to tell me that I needed to do next. But if we're constantly on a go, 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 you can't hear Jack. Right? Like you don't hear
Yes.
nothing. All you hear is the next
Yes.
thing you need to do, the bills need to be paid. I didn't know. I literally didn't know how I was going to pay my mortgage, how I was going. I mean, I went from a two household income to a single household income. How was I going to do that? How was I going to
With
pay these
four
mortgages?
children. Now, two at the time that was under 18,
Was
but
still living in my house going to high school.
yes.
And it was so much that I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And the only thing that really saved me was to pause,
Hmm.
to meditate, to
To
reflect,
rest.
to rest, to remember. where it was that God had brought me from even a year before that, right? So
Right.
every time that you sit back and you remember, like, he did it before, he'll do it again, right? If he did it before, he'll do it again.
Come
And
on.
if that ain't your language, then you got to remember something brought you through it, right? Or you wouldn't be where
Something.
you are right now.
Right.
Something brought you through that. And whatever
Right.
that is, get back to it.
Yep.
Pause, rest, reflect.
Yes. That's so true. And just in general, Carlos and I have been talking a lot lately, just the older we get and seeing family age, how important. I had a person say, eat, sleep, move your feet. So
Mhm.
what you're putting in your body is medicine.
Oh, yeah.
You got to make sure that you're sleeping. That's something that's
Mhm.
definitely underrated. And most importantly, rest.
Yeah.
So all of those things is going to contribute to decision fatigue, to burnout. Like we said, all the byproducts of that, procrastinating,
Mhm.
overthinking. So a lot of times it's really not that deep, but it's because society has put this expectation, like you said, I'm constantly on
Yeah.
my device and now I need to go to this thing and I don't want to miss out on that. And oh, did you check out what's happening over here? And so people start thinking you're crazy when you're like, I'm just gonna unplug. Like when you were talking to me last week, like I could tell you were just overthinking in that spiraling down that hole. And I was like, you just need to unplug this weekend and reset and get grounded.
Yeah.
Or you just
Yeah.
need to be able to not have to make any decisions. And sometimes it is
Mhm.
good to police our devices and put boundaries up with who interacts with us. And so that's where, again, I see we have in the chat, if you're feeling any type of burnout or fatigue, one, listen to the show and get some tips on that. But also, if you're watching the live right now, drop something in the chat. So, Ebony Sharonda is there. Please tell us before we go to, we got about 15, 20 minutes before we wrap up. What are things that we can see for you and your business coming up in March and the remainder of 2026?
Well, whew, I got a lot of things. I got
What
a lot of
aren't you
things going
doing? I
on.
guess is the question.
Well, we're my dad and I are just working a lot on building our ministry, Kingdom Building Ministries, and just doing a lot of work in that. So we're hosting Bible study and roundtable and a men's group and our book club, and a lot of that is just centered
Awesome.
around spirituality and just how to keep. Because again, in this burnout, fatigue area of our lives, it's so important to remember where your help come from. Right? It's so
Yes.
important to remember that you've got a community of people who are going through the same thing you're going through. Whether the circumstances are all exactly the same or not, the feelings are, the emotions that are connected to it are. And so having a community of people that you can just plug into, that you can hear like, dang, they did that or they went through that. Like, I'm going through the same thing. So
Right.
we're really focusing a lot on building up our ministry, Kingdom Building Ministries, doing community service through Kingdom Builder Ministries. We volunteered back in the end of January, beginning of February. My daughter wanted to celebrate her birthday by going out and feeding the disadvantaged. So we're doing a lot of community work and wanting to continue to do that. Then we've got the show, and the show again is just a platform that we're using to continue to spread the word and, bring people into the kingdom. But most importantly, help people to understand just how to stay grounded in this war that we're in right now, where you've
Yes.
got to keep feeding your spirit, feeding your soul, positive energy, positive things, ways to be able to overcome adversity, how to fight anxiety and depression.
Yes.
We've all been there, right? We've
Yes.
been
Yeah.
there, and,
And there's
and
no
we're in a
shame.
space we're in a space right now where it's just it's inevitable,
Yes.
if you are not staying connected to things. And then in terms of me personally, I am going to be teaching some classes
Come on,
for
educator.
through Greenville
Yes.
Tech. Yeah, I'm looking to do some adjunct teaching there for the electrical industrial courses, where we're going to be
How many
teaching.
times you get a teacher looking like Miss Ebony Sharonda coming to teach your electrical
Ah!
class in Greenville, South Carolina? I think people just going to be signing up so they could, look into Miss Ebony
Please,
Sharonda's eyes, honey.
please sign up. Please sign up so that we can have some fun in there and learn about electrical components, intro to electricity. And so that's going to be what we're going to be doing there. And then I'm also going to be teaching entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs, hobbyists through the
Yes.
community, where we are teaching a curriculum that helps you to better understand the very beginner level of Business 101 to help you with your marketing, your finances, just how to get your name out there, how to price your services. And so
Ooh,
that's
pricing
my
is so
real
important.
passion.
Yes.
That's I
You
love
know
it
us
so
with that
much.
money. We love price and play. It's monopoly money, as my dad would always say.
Yes, I love
Yes.
that so much. I just love teaching, entrepreneurs or hobbyists how to, take their thing that they're into and make money from it and
Yeah.
make it residual income or even your first job, whatever that turns
Yes.
into for you. So I love that. So I'll be doing some of that teaching as well. And then of course I got a proposal out there. Got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping to be working with some of the people who have been awarded some grant money through the city of Greenville,
Come on.
and coaching them and being there for them to help them make sure that the money that they receive through the grants, they're using it well. It's helping them to really change their lives and change their businesses. And if it is not, then how do we get on track to do that? How to get them on board with really scaling their businesses to a point where we can start creating jobs for our economy, really planting our flag out here, especially our minority owned businesses, and
Yes.
just out here. And of course, all day's Cassie Electric. That's every day, all day, still working my
Shout out
first
to Cassie
hustle.
Electric. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we're still out here. We're still, landing contracts, doing things. We're doing residential and commercial work. We're on a rebound, baby, and it's a good come up. Like things are great. We really came
Yes.
back out of 25 fighting for our life. But we landed the plane and you and I were working on our books. And I was like, dang, we did that.
We did.
Okay.
We
We
did. Taxes
did.
already done. It's not even March.
Look,
We're already ready. And like you
we
said, because
ready.
you needed that time to pause and to
Yeah.
reset and to reflect on, okay, what's the next move? A lot of times
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
so quick to quit when really you just need to pivot. But because you're
Mm-hmm.
so fatigued and you're making so many decisions and you're not taking
You
the
don't
time
know
to
what
slow
to do.
down. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I got to pay my bills and this is what I got to
Mhm.
do. Okay, but
Me
we make
too.
time, right?
Me
We make
too.
time for what we want to make time for. And so a lot
Mhm.
of times we can make that extra time to go get that Starbucks coffee. We can make some extra time, like you said, to meditate, to pray. I like to do things in tandem. If I'm in the shower and I wash up, I'm also praying.
Mhm.
If I'm in the
Yeah.
car, I'm thinking about different things. I love to send a voice note. Like everybody that knows me now, I talk all the time for work. So there's times where I don't want to talk when I'm not working. So you got to use all this technology. Me and Chat got a relationship. Most of my friends, they named a Chat GPT.
Come on now. AI is our friend. You better jump on it. They better
And
jump
we
on it because it's
we're gonna
happening.
yes. So which gonna lead me to our segment that we have together, Ebony, before we go, the growth code. We
Mhm.
rebranded this for about a year or two. We were doing small biz chat where Ebony would come
Yeah.
on. She's the COO partner of Cassie Electric, family owned business, black, female, majority owned electrical business. If not very
We
rare,
are.
the only in South Carolina. And so, but then Ebony started to evolve some. And, now in addition to Cassie
Mhm.
Electric, she's teaching and she's consulting. And we have a lot of these amazing personal faith driven initiatives you've done with the book club and roundtables and all of these great things that you've been doing. So actually, it was Jylen, Ebony's amazing daughter, our brand ambassador, that said, I don't know if we should call this small biz chat anymore because we're talking so much more than just small business. And I was like, yeah. And then we started using chat and we landed on growth code right before the show
Yeah.
aired last week. So I hope you like the name, Ebony.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when you hear it,
Yeah.
like, what did you think? We were like, growth code.
I was thinking, yeah, we are growing, like that's such a beautiful thing.
We're
It's
always
beautiful to
growing.
be able to like share this growth journey with others, because it's not a secret. I feel like in our generation growing up, our parents and grandparents, everything was so secretive,
What happens in
like
this house stays in this
we
house.
ain't talk about nothing. It was like I don't
Right.
even know what my mom was going through or what my grandmother was. I
Right.
don't know. They didn't talk
Stressed
about that.
out. Everything was a secret. Yep. I'm
Everything was
past
a
that.
secret, and so I'm past that. I don't want my daughter to not know what it feels like to be 47 years old and be going through perimenopause, right? Like I don't want her to
What's
get there
wrong
and
with
be
that?
like, "What is that? Why am
Right.
I feeling this way?"
Right.
So I feel like Growth Code was great because we're sharing the growth journey and how we are all evolving and
Yes.
talking about a number of things, because you're right, your diet is important,
Yep.
exercise is important. We can't leave any of those things out. All of it is fundamental to your business. Like we can't
Mm-hmm.
leave it off the table, even though we're not specifically talking about business principles, because you are a whole person,
Right.
and as a whole person, you have to remember that you can't just segment yourself out and be like, well, on Monday I'm business Ebony and I don't eat or sleep, or like
Right.
it don't
Right.
work like that.
Yes.
So
And just like anything, like we say, the growth code, you're going to evolve personally and your business is going to
yeah,
evolve. And you have to continue to
absolutely.
pivot. We talk about this all the time. I got married when I was like 27. I'm going to be
Hmm.
44 this year. A lot has changed. And so your business goes through different cycles. Ebony's a business coach. We know that there's inception, there's growth, and then you
Hmm.
scaling up.
Hmm.
And so you want to make
Yeah.
sure you have systems in place so that you don't break when you're growing, you
Hmm.
don't break when you're scaling up. And same thing when it comes to personal. You want to make sure that you're doing things that is feeding the soul. So, oh, look at Mr. Charles Xavier, aka Mr. Edwards, in the chat. In general, 2025 was a crazy year for so many individuals. Listen to him, he did. So hopefully
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah.
And Carlos mentioned to me, Ebony, he's going to be reaching out to you because he wants to lead out some things with you with the men's ministry.
Love
Again,
it.
Ebony sends these messages out all the time. And I'm sure, Ebony, you might be like, man, I'm not hearing any feedback, whatever. We're seeing it. Like, and like we talk about in marketing, people have to see things sometimes, what, like 10, 12 times before they're like, okay. So shout out to Charles Xavier in the chat,
Yes.
putting you on the
Yes.
spot. I'm his
Yes.
business coach. He is stepping into
Hmm.
some side hustles because, again, society wants us to just work one job for 30 years and then wait till we're almost 70 to get social security. And then what do I want to do at 70? Maybe go somewhere for 10 years? No, like we're trying to create generational wealth and you need multiple streams of income, at least seven or eight. And so a business is one of those. And I don't knock people who are W-2 employees. We all need a job. However, you don't just need one. So I just feel like
Yeah.
spread it around, spread it around.
I mean, I think even you think Warren Buffett just has one company. I mean, let's think about that. He
Mm-mm.
doesn't. You know what I mean? So you've got to you got to be able to just understand that in the evolution of things, you have to go with what the economy is doing, and you
Yes.
have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to think through, how do I
Yep.
maximize or optimize on what I have going on in front of me? And if you stuck and you
Mm-hmm.
think that you can only do one thing, or one thing is good enough, then you're not really paying attention to what's going on around you. I mean,
No.
it's a lot of things happening. Groceries are higher. Even your job can't make all
Yeah.
ends meet. There's people who are struggling right
Medical,
now.
all things. I mean, I look at Zillow and, looking at houses in the area, and I'm like, there's no way in the world that my house is now 150,000 higher than what it was back in 2020 when I purchased it, or that orange
Hmm.
juice, Tropicana orange juice is 968 at Ingles. I'm like,
Wow,
so when
that's
they all,
crazy.
so just because the news, just because whoever is saying, oh, it's not inflation, like we're not in any type of depression. Okay, most people are gonna have to make $100,000 annually to be a homeowner.
Yeah.
$100,000. That's nowhere near whatever the federal minimum wage is, which is $7.25. So that's where I do feel like, also with decision fatigue, I want to be in control of my destiny as much as possible. So I don't want to just be sitting and hoping that my job doesn't eliminate my position, not because that I'm not qualified and all of the things, just because they're paying me this much money. It's just easy to cut you, Veronica, and then put a college student in, and that's half your salary. So you just want to make sure that you're investing in yourself as much as possible. Because I think a lot of times people feel like, well, I want this person or that person to do this for me. Well, we're independent at the Veronica Everett Show. Like I would love to have sponsors and we always are asking for it, but it's something about when it's your own and you start it. Ebony, you're dealing with that with your YouTube page. You are building it from the bottom up. If somebody wanted to purchase your brand,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know everything inside and out. No one can ever say that it was given to you because you invested in yourself. And I think more
Yeah.
people, if we invested in ourselves more instead of investing in Nike or this one, no shot, I love Nike, or Sheen, I love Sheen, and all these other places that we don't have any ownership in. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
I mean,
2026 Black History, let's go ahead and get some more Black ownership.
well, when we talk about decision fatigue, especially, I mean, here's an easy way to eliminate some of that is stop worrying about what everybody else got going on and focus on what you need to do for you.
Or what
When you
everybody
can,
thinks about you.
what we say, trying to keep up with the Joneses, when you spending so much time worrying about what they got over there, how much is they house, they car, what they wearing, what the kids gotta wear, that's sucking up energy right there in itself about
Yes.
decisions that you could be focusing that energy on something that's more productive.
Right,
So
right.
it's just time to elevate our thinking. It's time to think smarter, not working harder. We're not doing that
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Right.
Like slavery is over, right?
Yes.
We're not slaves to the industries. We're not slaves to the culture. We don't have to do that anymore. And I
Right.
think if we start elevating our minds to understand that, then you'll start to feel already, dang, I ain't really got nothing to do,
Right.
because you done scraped a whole lot
Yes.
off your plate just by eliminating
Right.
worrying about what other people are doing and trying to figure out how you gonna fit in with the Joneses, because the Joneses might be struggling over there too. You just don't know that. So I tell
Yes.
people all the time, don't worry about somebody else's grass. You don't know what it takes to keep their grass green. It might be fake, right? It might be fake
Right.
grass. They water bill might be high. It might be,
Yes.
so many things that you don't know. So now
Right.
you've just incorporated yourself into worrying about what other people doing, trying to decide how to keep up with them. And now you're talking about you got decision fatigue. Well, here's an easy one.
Say no. Say
Let that
no.
go.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
stay.
I
Yeah.
like another little tip I give. I don't even know if we said this on the show is before you make a major decision, just take time. Just pause. You know,
Hmm.
and because sometimes we're so quick to be like, yes, but give it some time. Like you said, nothing's an emergency. We're not performing life or death surgery. And so you want to
Yep.
make sure that you just pause, make the right decision, and don't let anybody stress you out. And so, yes, in the chat, we got our producer reminding us to make sure that we like and subscribe. We are almost to the end, Ebony. It's almost 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for again being
Thank
part of this
you.
journey. We are approaching March, will be our 1 year anniversary on YouTube being independent. After I know I'm 5 years old with the Veronica Edwards Show. We were
Wow.
formerly on Biz Radio, which Aaron's dad, Matt Matan, was the founder of the show and really was a mentor to me when it came to the radio space. So it was just a natural transition continuing with Aaron. Aaron was producing my show. I hear Drew in the background. Well, you see that
Can you?
that's a
My
1 year
door
old back
shut,
there.
by the way.
She's got some good lungs. And so shout out to
She's
Drew. Anybody
Mariah Carey, by the way. That's
CJ
what they
was the
call her, Mariah.
same way. But Ebony, thank you. And this is a perfect example in the midst of all of this. And your daughter,
Mhm.
the young lady that's screaming in the background, her mother is helping us in the background make sure this gets streamed everywhere.
While her daughter is screaming, probably mad because she can't get in my room and see what I'm doing because she want to be on the screen too.
Yes. Let her in for the last minute or two. Poor Drew. Well, with that being said, we don't want any more decision fatigue for baby Drew. Let's see if baby Drew's coming. But again, if anybody missed last week's episode on decision fatigue, make sure you go back and watch it. We have amazing episodes. And the next episode in March, we're actually going to have baby Drew's mom, Jylen, brand ambassador, and then also Erin Matan is going to be on the show for Behind the Curtain. So you guys can learn a little bit more about the show. So I was hoping that we could bring baby Drew on. Oh, baby Drew! Perfect timing before we go.
Say
Hey,
hey, mama.
baby Drew.
Say hey. Say hi.
Why was you making all this noise? You know we was going live, and this is in Black History Month, Drew.
Drew said, "Look, I'm trying to watch my show and get in the bathtub at the same time." So,
Well, Ebony, thank you for helping us round out the shortest month of the year, but the most important, Black History Month. And thank you,
absolutely.
baby Drew, for sharing your lovey. Ebony is not a grandma. She's not Nana. She's a lovey.
Yeah. Say hi.
Lovey.
You want to say
Bye,
hi?
baby Drew.
Say later. Oh no.
Well, thank you guys again. So, again, Ebony, thank you so much, Ebony Sharonda, for joining us today, for sharing your wisdom, always having powerful conversations. Everyone, please follow Ebony Sharonda at the Ebony Sharonda YouTube show. Also, continue to like the Veronica Edwards show. So, if you guys want to see more of these lives, let us know. We'll be back next month. Thank you guys so much. Veronica Edwards.